Hello, and welcome to what's going to be my 20XX Smash Ultimate tier list. So basically the point of this tier list is not necessarily to assess all the characters on where they're at right now, but to see where they will be by the end of Smash's lifespan, essentially. So now that we've had all the final patches and the game is pretty much complete, over the next few years is when people are going to be fully optimizing and maximizing everything that their characters can do, and at least until the next Smash game happens. And this is basically just a tier list of who will be like the top 15, bottom 15, and everyone in the middle for that few, like from now until the next Smash game. So starting off, I have Sora. The top 5 or 7-ish could honestly be put in slightly different order, and I'd be like pretty okay with it. I just put them in the order that I like best thought. The top 7 to top 10 of this list could honestly be put in any order and I'll be okay with it, but I just put them all in the order I chose because it just looked the best to me for what I personally view the game as going forward. And the reason I have Sora at the top is mainly because he has the most opportunity to grow potentially out of almost any character, because he's only been out for very little time by comparison. And also, like, looking at some of the more optimized combos for Sora and all of his different combo routes, like with and without platforms, are very, very scary and very like high damage. Also, the fact that in the future of the game, edge guards and like getting people off stage with gimps and like early KOs is going to be probably the most important thing. A character like Sora or Pikachu, for example, who have like really great like disjointed and like hard to mess with recoveries, will definitely be better in this meta compared to the meta of Smash where it is today. Yeah, next up with Joker and Pikachu. They're still top tiers like they were before, but they'll just be like more fully optimized and like polished top tiers now. Joker in particular with the drag down up air confirms and the drag down up air platform push combos that I highlighted in my other video, if those start becoming more like useful in tournament and more like actively used, it can also be like an extra thing that they didn't have before that could like keep them like at this level and at like a high level. Similar thing with Pikachu, they have like a ton of different platform push combos as well as just other combo routes that they haven't fully explored yet. And since there aren't as many Pikachu players in general, I feel like that's part of the reason why later on in the game they are more of an in-game type of character. Once you have like all the up air bridges and all the different confirms down with them, like you'll be much better than towards the beginning of the game's lifespan. Now for Daisy and Peach. Both of them are already really great top tier characters, but the reason why they're still going to be great later on in the game is because you'll see this with some of my other placements as well. I am personally very much a firm believer that having an item, like a throwable or usable item in this game, is very, very broken and useful. And if a lot more characters would have it, it would give them a lot more options and neutrals to play the game. And Peach and Daisy are like some of the best with all their different turnips and Mr. Saturns and bombs and different things they can get with like turnip trains, like all their high damage combos, like drag down up air, drag down downer into different things, like footstool setups, different other turnip confirms, like really great edge guarding, really great ledge trapping, really great neutral. The only thing is they're like slightly slow. I'm not gonna go into like all the details of why I think they're a good or bad character in this, but I will do like a full like present day tier list later on, so I'll go more in depth on them. But the reason why they're going to be better later on is because of all those things I just mentioned, and again, once again, like platform, like different platform push options that like could be more optimized as well. With Chic, this is mainly just because of their speed in a meta that has like a lot of like lagless moves and like harder to punish moves. Chic can punish a lot more than most characters can, and has a lot of really great like out of shield options and frame data and recovery as well. Like it's like similar to Zero Suit Samus recovery, where they have the bouncing fish, and if they get knocked out of it, they lose it, or the teleport recovery, which is a lot harder for like some characters to edgeguard than other recoveries because it's just instant. And then they also have a lot of like drag down, footstool, and other setups that they could optimize more as well. The only thing is that they don't have as much kill power as like a Joker or like honestly a few other ones I placed below them. The main reason why I have them placed so high is because of like how highly I value like having good neutral like once you've played the game for long enough. And if you've been playing the game for like essentially the end of Smash's lifespan and you've been playing Chic from the beginning, you're gonna have really good neutral usually. And yeah. Next up was Steve and Pac-Man. I put Steve slightly higher than Pac-Man because he hasn't been out for as long and hasn't had enough time to lab out as many different combo routes and setups. But even the ones that he has now are already like really broken and really good. Like his camping's really good, his neutral's really good. Like all of his like aerials and combos are really good with or without diamond. And if it gets diamond, it just does a lot more damage or can like 0 to death or kill really early. And then with Pac-Man, he's just really good at the zoning game, has really great frame data, really solid recovery. Steve has a decent to solid recovery too, it's just not as good as Pac-Man's in my opinion. But Steve can stall for a lot longer, so that can also help out in certain like camping situations. But overall, I placed these two this high because they will be leading the camping in the future of Smash, and also will have a lot of new combos later on that you won't see on other characters, just because they have so many different moves and so many ways to like combo into the moves with the blocks and different materials and bonus fruit with Pac-Man. For Palutena, it's mainly this position because of just how good a character they are still and will be, with their different nair chains and different just disjoints, hitboxes, safe frame data for the most part, good zoning, good edge guarding, good counter, good ledge trapping, all that stuff, and really good teleport recovery. Even though it doesn't have a hitbox, it's still very good in terms of like having people run the timing. Like in the very far future, as this tier list is supposed to be, more people will be able to like down air, 2-frame the timing, or like hit the timing, but I think all of their other strengths make up for that, very much so. And yeah, definitely another character that I personally want to try out more drag down like up air combos and drag down nair combos with as well, but by like the 20XX year, it'll probably be much more efficient with those. And now for Pyra Mythra, and just starting off with Mythra, they're basically just gonna be in the same tier. I'm not gonna like put them separately because no one's gonna be really maining only Mythra or only Pyra. But if I were to just talk about just Mythra, she would still be in this tier because of how good her neutral is, just similar to Chic, and basically everything else I said for Chic except with a sword and just a worse recovery. That's the main thing like holding them back in the meta and why they're not like top 5 or top 6, you know. But that's where I put Pyra and Mythra for that reason. Pokemon Trainer because of all the different like swap combos you can do, the viability of Pokemon Trainer since the beginning of the game, from like when they were just more simple to now like a lot of different ways to play neutral against a bunch of different characters. And also the good thing about Pokemon Trainer in general is just that you can literally counterpick any character in the middle of your match, versus because you can go from having a combo heavy like Water Mario type of character to a zoner with a really good nair and really great anti-airs and edge guarding and ledge trapping, to a heavy with really great kill power, damage, and really great like out of shield options. So it's like the best of all different archetypes besides the sword character and maybe like a mega zoner in the game that you can get. So Pokemon Trainer will always be like top 15 or like super viable in this game. That's just that. And for Diddy Kong, it's similar to Pac-Man and Peach and Daisy because of just having the use of a really good item, really great frame data, and really good neutral. Like the peanut gun's also decently useful, but not as useful as other projectiles or other like weapons in the game. I think it's mainly just because of all different confirms that he has with Banana, and Monkey Flip is better than like some of the bottom 5 of the cast, and just how oppressive his frame data can be versus most characters. And for Shulk, it's a mixed bag sometimes with how few Shulk players there currently are dominating, but the name of Shulk has always been the potential character, right? They've always been the character that's like, oh, but they have the potential to be like best or top 3 character in the game. They have the potential to be all this and that, and no one's really seen it at this point yet. And I'm very much a believer that like later on we'll see a lot better and improved Shulk play and more advanced like tech for them coming out once they've been like labbing stuff out or maybe figure something out they hadn't yet. But I think the Monados by themselves should like allow Shulk to be in this tier, and having like super broken options, much like Pokemon Trainer, to adapt to like what your character and opponent like have as strengths and weaknesses is just really, really good in any type of meta at any point in time. So once that's fully optimized, that's just gonna be super duper insane. With Snake, the only new thing or like new tech I've heard about with Snake is that you can get like a grenade, like jump, throw up the grenade, and then use it almost as like a stall or like a C4 recovery without having to use C4. And that was slightly interesting, but other than that, there hasn't been like any super duper like new tech besides like the platform push stuff I was like looking at with Snake recently. So he's up here basically just because he's top tier, and frame 1 grenade, go burr, and that's it. For Link, the reason why Link is up in top tier where he usually isn't in most cases is mainly just because of Bomb. Like I said with other characters, Bomb is really, really, really good in neutral, in ledge trapping, in kill confirms and kill setups, in disadvantage for bomb recovery, like in every sense of the word. It's just like one of the best items in the game. And it's not better than the like Young Link or Toon Link bomb at low level, but at like top level, fully optimized gameplay, it's very, very broken, very, very good. Because he can reliably hit the infinites, even like not super like high level players can hit the infinites on people or like on like friendlies or in tournament or whatever. I actually played against a really, really good Link the other day who like infinited me and then bombed me at ledge and then spiked me at 50 off of the bomb like confirm. It was crazy. Like Link is just a really, really good character. And a lot of people just don't really see it because they're more rare, but I definitely think that Breath of the Wild Link is going to be the best Link of the 3 Links in the game. And if you don't think that, like later on, I would definitely disagree. Next up for Bilith, the reason why I have Bilith so high is partially because of the Leo factor, because of how many people like will and have started playing Bilith more because of MK Leo, and him like saying how much he likes the character and how like viable I think she is, or he or them is. But either way, like they're gonna be super duper more saturated in the meta. Like even if he ends up dropping them by like the end of Smash's lifespan, simply because of how good their out of shield is, how good their edge guarding is, how good their ledge trapping is, how big of a disjoint they have, and how honestly they're kind of fun to play too. So I wouldn't like hold it against people to just trying them out and like sticking with them for the rest of Smash. I honestly have started like playing them a little bit more just for fun, and also for the like platform practice stuff. And they've had a lot of like really good combos. And I even recently like discovered like a new kill confirm with them with like double nair to back air like 50, and then you die off the side to like the tipper back air. They just have really early kill setups as well. Like that's something that people don't really realize about this character, is that they can kill a lot earlier than almost any sword character, even Pyra. Like you can kill consistently with tipper forward air, with like nair dash attack, forward smash at ledge, lots of other stuff. And it's just a very well-rounded and good character with great drag downs, great neutral, and great options. It's just the only one who's really able to do it right now is Leo, because they haven't been fully optimizing the character he's been the only one that's been optimizing the character like to its maximum potential. Now heading out of the top 15, we're just gonna go into general top tier, where there are characters with like a good amount of untapped potential, but still just missing one or two little pieces to be like fully top of the top tier or top 15 in like the future meta. Starting off with Inkling. Inkling's like dash forward and dash back animation's already been broken since the beginning of the game. It's been really good. And then since they got buffed in the recent patch, I put them up a little bit higher than I would have before. I probably would have put them like top of mid tier or bottom of this tier in like pre-patch, but now that they got their really commonly used moves buffed, like forward smash and like F tilt and the neutral B for the ink, so they can ink people from like halfway across the stage now, which is crazy. It's just really useful, and they can now do like slightly drag down up air into roller confirm sometimes if the opponent's not ready for it. They can do a bunch of other like good edge guarding tools with the splatter bomb, and just now you can even just have just the splatter shot at ledge just to get free ink on them as they're trying to recover. And some recoveries you can even make like gimp them with the ink, which is really silly. But yeah, overall Inkling is and will be a great character in the game. With Kazuya, still a great character. Only thing holding him back is recovery and getting camped, like on platforms or like just in general. Like he still has a reflector, but it's not super fast, and you could always just send out a weak projectile to get reflected, and then like shoot your strong one right after. Like if you're Samus or whoever, like shoot us a weak missile and then the charge shot, and then he'll reflect the weak missile and then just get hit by the charge shot and die. So it's not the greatest reflector, and he's not the greatest character, but he has amazing 0 to deaths, more moves than anyone in the game except for Hero, and it's just overall really great. Like other people in this tier. Rob, 0 to death, Gyro, he's big so he gets comboed. Nair's great, down tilt's great, up smash is great, all of his throws are really good. All of his aerials are pretty much really good.
Today, we're going to show you how we perform the Jiffy Lube signature service oil change.
Will stay great.
It's actually a lot more than just a regular oil
so
change.
Ness, I'm actually going to talk about Ness and Yoshi at the same time, because I think
basically everything you need to help keep your car running smoothly.
The way that their kits work is honestly very similar. They just have really great aerials, really great anti-airs, and really great like aerial drift and combos. It's just that they can be very susceptible to edge guarding and don't always do well versus disjoints or like people who can camp better than them. Other than that, like those are their like main one or two issues, but they also have really great drag down and PPC setups and just other cool stuff that like still needs to be like optimized and hasn't been optimized yet. Yoshi still has good footstool setups and stuff. Ness has like double side magnet stuff that's cool as well. Like side magnet there and like other really early kill setups with those characters as well. So those characters are always going to be really good. Roy, probably like one of the best swordies, like outside of the ones I already mentioned. Jab back air is silly, jab side B is really silly. Just killing people at the ledge at like 65 or 70 is always going to be a viable option and something you want as like character you're gonna pick up and main. Their one thing is their recovery, that's it. Like, and maybe getting killed sometimes, but those are the main things. Sonic, their main thing is not being able to like kill unless you have really solid kill confirms, but since they theoretically will be fully optimized, they'll have other kill confirms down pat and just be able to do what they need to do and get good edge guards and get good ledge traps and all that. So Sonic would be very great later on. You didn't already think he was. Next up is a slightly more controversial one in Ice Climbers. I know in every other game, Ice Climbers has been super duper broken, like since like the start with like wobbling or like infinite chain grabs and all that other stuff. And desyncs and chain grabs and zero deaths all still work with Ice Climbers. It's just a lot harder and a lot less consistent. But they have more options now than they did before, I believe. Like they're just more varied and less like cookie cutter, like wobbling or like just the same chain grab over and over again. But once the game is fully optimized in like in its final form, essentially, I think those chain grabs and those setups will be super duper consistent when they know how to hit them. And also they have like in my optimal view of like future Smash, like Ice Climber is going to be in this like top 25, top 30 scenario of just how consistent they'll be able to be with all their combos, because once you've been playing it for like that many years and like against that many matchups, you know exactly what buttons you need to press and who to press. With Game & Watch, he's just up here because he's top tier and he's simple. He's not going to really improve all that much outside of maybe some drag down there stuff or cool stuff that could be more optimized that I don't really see. But other than that, like he's just a really good character. Like up smash is like minus 100, or I mean, up smash is like plus 100 on block. All of his smash attacks and aerials are really good, really great anti-airs, really great edge guarding, everything you want in a character, except for weight and disjoints sometimes. Mii Brawler, just similar to Mario, and the only reason I have him higher than Mario is because of the potential that he has, like more than Mario. Mario's been like almost the same for like a couple games and hasn't really changed all that much in terms of combos. It's a lot of up air, nair, back air, like up B type of stuff. And all of his specials are really good, like talking about Mario, but Mii Brawler just has more, and he can counter pick by just changing one or two moves in his kit to like make like one stage better than another for him. Like let's say he gets counter picked a Town and City, and he can go, I think it's a helicopter kick. Yeah, it's a helicopter kick that kills off his side, and then like he goes to Yoshi's, which would be great for Mario as well, but he has like thrust uppercut that can kill at like earlier percents and sends at a better angle than Mario's up B. So at a fully optimized level, Mii Brawler is like significantly better than Mario. Next up is another like slightly more controversial like pick in Incineroar. Incineroar is honestly the sleeper top tier character of the future in my opinion, because even though they're like one of the slowest characters, I think probably the slowest character in the game, if my memory serves me right, they still have really great frame data, really great like juggle setups, decent smash attacks, not the best, great specials with the command grab to side B, and Revenge, which is probably the strongest counter in the game outside of maybe like Smash Monado Shulks. But what you have to think about in terms of like late game is that if an Incineroar player has been playing for this long, they know how to not get gimped and how to work around like their slow mobility and whiff punish. Like once you're like a pro like 20xx Incineroar player, you're gonna have maximized whiff punishing, maximize like when to get your side B, and know like what stages you won't get like camped out on or like easily gimped on. So probably like a Smashville or other stages like that. I don't know. I don't really play Incineroar personally, but maybe I will try them out someday. But that's basically why Incineroar will go from being like overall a low tier character at like the start of the game, like early Ultimate, to one of like the top 25, top 30 characters in the game by the end of it. And with Wario, they're still really good. I know they got nerfed a couple patches ago and then got like Jab by itself buffed in the last patch, which wasn't really that big of a deal, but a buff's a buff, I guess. So Wario means you can take that. They still have really, really great kill potential and great kill power with all their nair and up air and up tilt combos into waft. Like, they're just slightly tighter now, so that makes them slightly worse in like immediate ultimate, but like later on they'll be fine because everyone will have practiced their confirms and muscle memory to the max. With Young Link, they'll just be probably the like second best or third best zoner after Snake and Link in the game at that point, because of how like good just Fire Arrow is, how good Boomerang is, and their bombs are decent but don't confirm as well as like Toon Links or regular Links. I think the main thing that I would like to see improve more is just as similar as a lot of other characters, like the PPCs, just off of Zair or forward air, different drag down setups, or just more use of bomb and other stuff in neutral that they don't use as much, because I don't really see as many young ones use like bomb as effectively as they could. Like just when they usually just would go for a different projectile. But yeah, in terms of zoning, they can really wall out and just not approach your characters if they really choose to. So that's just with Falco, the main thing that needs to be more optimized is just his drag down and footstool combos. Other than that, he is already been played since the beginning of the game, has been buffed in pretty much the last 3 patches in a row, to the point where he's now like really, really good, and people just don't realize how good he's gotten because no one's really piloting him as effectively as they could be. And that'll obviously change with time once people have fully mastered their characters, but I think it's safe to say that they will be like bottom end of top tier by the end of the game, because of how great their anti-airs are, how great their combo game is, how hard it is to parry multi-hits in like stressful situations. Like all of his aerials except for like down air, well, I think down air is still technically a multi-hit too, but all of his aerials pretty much are going to be multi-hit. Most of his attacks are, and as someone who regularly fishes for parries, I hate playing this character, but it doesn't mean I don't think they're not great later on. It's just like I personally have a vendetta versus Falco. The Falco agenda. Now I'm going to try to quickly go through these last 4 in the end of top tier. Starting with Cloud. Cloud is just really good sword character in general. Can get gimped, but has really good neutral otherwise, especially if he has limit, and can do some fun and interesting stuff with like drag down like cross slash off a platform, or just like other finishing touch setups now that he has like a faster finishing touch and like good jab lock setups and stuff. But I don't think he really has that much out of footstool, if I remember correctly. He doesn't have like, he might have like footstool finishing touch out of shield, but I don't know how viable that is if instead of just like parry finishing touch or just shield drop like up B finishing touch or cross slash. But if you're a Cloud main, I'd really be curious to see what like footstool out of shield options you have. With Terry's just broken with Go and really good frame data, really great combo routes. Still has some room to improve from what I've seen for some Terrys and stuff, but overall is still a great character. Could potentially be better than Kazuya if played right, but I just have him slightly below for right now because maybe recency bias as well as some other stuff. And then Meta Knight is top tier because of how great his combo game is, how he has like true 0 to death on some characters still, really great up air and like nair and back air and down air strings. All of his like aerials and moves combo really well into each other, except for like the specials, and the specials are just really great, powerful killing finishers. You know, the only real thing holding Meta Knight back is just getting out camped. With Bowser, he can get out camped, but he's also like relatively fast compared to most of the casts, and like speed is going to be a really important thing for whiff punishing and like reading people's options once the game is like towards the end of its lifespan. He has really great 2 frames with down tilt, forward tilt, down tilt, forward tilt, down B, like flame breath, like half his kit pretty much. Great neutral, just great out of shield options. You already know what's good about Bowser if you're like, you already know what's good about Bowser if you've been playing against a good one or have played. You already know what's good about Bowser if you've played against a good one or have seen any decent Bowser play. Next up, we have the mid tier, where there's honestly only going to be just some minor gameplay improving things or evolving things like from now to like the end of the game's lifespan. A lot of these characters benefit from the PPC, like platform push combo stuff I was talking about before, but I'm not going to mention that anymore for any of these characters, so I just really suggest checking that video out if you main anyone in the cast, which you probably do if you're watching this video. So you can see what new combo routes or options your character might have, and you can also enter the contest and giveaway I'll be doing towards the end of February for hitting a super cool platform push combo on your friend or your opponent or whoever, and just sending that clip in. So starting off with Wolf, Wolf is already a really great like higher top tier character on his like off the bat, and then in the future he'll just be more consistent with the things that like Charlie the King does with like footstool up B out of shield and like getting really good forward air, like reverse shine confirms. Like this really cool combo I saw was like forward air, reverse the reflector shine into like turn around back air while you're in midair, and it was actually pretty like early percent. It killed out like 60, 70-ish. I might be mistaken on that, but that was just what I remembered. In terms of Sephiroth and Mario, they're two very polar opposite characters. Like one has really like great range and the other one's like really stubby, but they're both like top of mid tier in my opinion because of like how polarizing their matchups are going to be. Like for Sephiroth, he can fully invalidate some characters and even be like super duper top tier versus them, and it would be a really great counterpick character to have like in your like pockets. But he's very tall and easy to combo. He can get edge guarded even though he has a solid like mix-up game, especially if he has wing. But if you gimp him below like 75 or 80% before he can get that wing, like he's gonna be easier pickings off stage, especially if you have like good disjoints or a projectile, sometimes a counter. And his neutrals overall like really good, probably like one of the best of the sword characters if you're like super precise with your spacing, and definitely way better than like Martha Lucina. Well, definitely better than Martha. Lucina's still really good, but his projectile game is really good, so he can out like zone and out camp sometimes, but it's not the best like a young Link or one of the other Links. And Mario, he's just very stubby in general, but those stubs really put in work, so he has a lot of like combo potential, like early kill setups from like the upper forward air, or upper up B, and like all the usual Mario jank. And then all of his specials are like what you would want in just a standard character that's really good for the game and doesn't cost $5.99. Samuses are really great just because charge shot, decent frame data for boxing, and really great tether grab, and hard to ledge trap, and bomb ledge trapping is really good. Charizard, I'm going to talk about all the Pokemon separately since I already talked about Pokemon Trainer, but just go back to Pokemon Trainer if you were looking just for that by itself. It's going to be a little early in the video. But yeah, Charizard has really early kill setups with like just anything, like any combo he can get into Flare Blitz, any like up smash, up B, or just like early kill out of shield. He's still pretty easy to combo, but if you're getting combo, just switch. Has pretty solid edge guarding with Flame Breath and his aerials and all the stuff that makes him good off stage with his multiple jumps. And is pretty fast on the ground, pretty decent mobility as well. Fox, very fast, very good combo routes, very simple game plan, but also not the easiest in terms of getting kills. But once you've fully like mastered the character, you'll know all the kill confirms and be able to land them, as long as your opponent like doesn't know how to like avoid them perfectly, and you know like which ways to like get in on them. You can usually get kills. My Fox can't though, because I don't know how to play Fox. But yeah, I'd say Fox is still just as good as he is before, not really super anything game changing in my opinion. Maybe some footstool setups I don't know about, but that's basically it. Ike, my main, and potentially my main towards the end of the game, we'll see. He will always be like towards the middle of mid tier in my opinion. Like preview / spoilers for my actual like tier list a little bit, but I think the reason I put Ike in mid tier is because he is the rock paper scissors, like the epitome of a rock paper scissors sword character in the game. You either want to fish for like landing near or up air, like a tilt on the ground, or you want to try to get a grab to start a combo, right? Those are his main three like options in neutral. He doesn't have any projectiles. He's not that fast, so he can't lift punish with like that many of his moves, except for maybe like a dash tilt or a dash jab, which doesn't really get you that much, except for like damage or maybe a kill at like super high percents. But in terms of what he can improve on, I've been practicing and labbing out all the Ike footstool combos recently, and I'm gonna do a more in-depth guide on them like in the coming months. But overall, he is not super like tech skill heavy. He's not like a Peach or another character. Like he's not like a Peach or a Daisy. Essentially, he's not super tech skill heavy. But what he does have is like a really good disjoint, a really solid neutral game if you know how to play him and know how to not get edge guarded. But he can also die very, 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 very early. Like he can die to 50. Like he can die at 50% very easily if you know how to give him, have a good projectile, or just have a way to cover all of his options like a lot of characters can at this point. And in the future that'll be even more true. And also there's a ton of characters in this game, like the Belmonts, Min, Sephiroth, that can like outrange him on his recovery or just in neutral in general, and can just beat him out at like every turn, or out frame data him if they don't have as big of a disjoint. So he loses on like both ends of the spectrum, and the only reason why he's put in mid tier and not like low tier in my opinion is because of how decent his results are, and also because of like how good his neutral is with his sword, and like if you have good spacing, you can not be as punished by like good characters with better frame data. So you then you only have to worry about like camping, which is one of his harder matchups as well. But there's no case on that. ZSS, Captain Falcon, and Bayo. I'm gonna group these three together right now because they all just are pretty relatively tall characters, very good combo routes, good neutral, decently fast, like really high damage combos, especially if you're talking about like Falcon's newer like instant double jump combo stuff. And once that's more optimized, like with the stuff that I've seen like Fatality doing, it'll be much more crazy, you know? But they still have like very notable weaknesses. Like they can all get edge guarded, they can all get ledge trapped, they can all like lose the trade game usually, except for maybe Captain Falcon. Captain Falcon's moves are pretty strong, so if he like trades with another aerial or trades with another opponent, he'll usually like come out on top. But overall, they're just very much middle of the road, not like super broken, not like super bad, just really high damage combos and good neutral. The only new thing I've been practicing with Banjo is just the drag down nair and drag down back air type of stuff. His egg confirms are cool, not super new or anything. Like people have already been using like the egg into up tilt stuff and different like grenade into like forward air or grenade into side B stuff. But the thing holding him back is just he can lose to some bigger disjoints or people who can't better than him. And I don't know about his like out of shield frame data. I don't know what nair or nair to backer comes out at, and backer is not the super best at hitting short characters, if I'm not mistaken. And he can lose like versus like bigger disjoints like Bilith or Sephiroth or sometimes Ike if he doesn't edge guard them early, you know. So that's Banjo. Mewtwo, really great combos, really great aerials and kill power, and got buffed recently, but tail hurtbox still is slightly an issue, even though they made it more disjointed than it used to be. It's just not the best on that small of a character. Even though, like, I still think he could be at Samus level, if not better, with how some of his aerials connect into his other moves. He is just like 1 or 2 slight improvements away from being like really, really broken. The pits are the middle of the mid-road, have great confirms, great setups and everything. Drag down up air and drag down air can be cool in terms of like future-proofing stuff and like things like that. They might be able to get like down tilt into footstool stuff, but I don't know how viable that is compared to just like their standard other combos. But if we're talking like if we're talking about maxing the characters to the fullest, that's like something I thought I would mention. Hero can either be in like top 20 or can be in like bottom 10, but I put him in mid because of that balance of RNG, and once people like maximize the options of this character, they're not going to really be using their spells as like inefficiently as they are now. They're just going to be like doing really good Accelerado combos, really good oomph and psych up combos, and killing people really early. But in this game, killing people really early isn't like that cool or that like, you know, not standard. So that's why I just put them in the middle of mid tier, especially with how slow some of the moves come out and like how like atrocious like some of like their hitboxes are with like up smash, like not hitting off the side, like on the sides, and like up air being kind of weak except for like being a combo tool. Lucas and Mega Man, drag down nair and drag down nair for Lucas, and drag down back air setups for Mega Man are the only 2 things I'd say that need to be more optimized. And also maybe Metal Blade and other combos. Ryu and Ken, or mainly Ryu is the one who got the most buff recently with his red fireball into like back air, or his like forward tilt that breaks shields. So he's really, really good, and will still be good with focus and all the other things that make those shows good. Pichu has great aerials, great setups, just great neutral, just loses the trade game like I said about some other characters, and also is a lot worse than Pikachu in terms of what they can do in neutral for the most part. If you're playing Pichu, it's like you want to be playing Pikachu, but you just pick the wrong character at the start, and you just either stuck to your guns or just like very, very sure that Pichu's better. And I'd love to hear why from a Pichu main, but overall I think they're just not as worth it compared to some other characters. Bowser Jr. is still a really solid character, good zoning, really hard to punish aerials unless you parry them, and in the future people will be able to, so like that's why he's a little bit lower. I just say he can have more like advanced setups in the future with the little Mecha Koopa thing, like a Mecha Koopa into like different aerials, or Mecha Koopa into like different on or off stage setups. But most of those have already been like labbed out and like been fully optimized. So it's not really anything like new that like will change him to be like a super duper top tier. He's just still a very run of the mill great character and very much viable, but not like better than any people above him. Luigi, same thing. He's not super great, been fully optimized almost already. Excuse me. Luigi's already been pretty much fully optimized with all the 0 to death and different combo routes. He's just a decent character in neutral, but a very atrocious character off stage. And in the future meta of all those characters with good projectile zoning or like edge guard potential, he will not survive unless you're like elegant or you're one of the people who dedicated your life to this character and no one else. Wii Fit Trainer, my secondary, is going to be towards the end of this mid-tier section, because even though like header cancels and all the different things you can do with them are great, they've already all been labbed out by someone at this point. Like literally every header cancel angle can be useful at some point, but it's not always super viable because of how long it takes to set up and how precise you have to be with some of the setups, like into like back air or into like, because one cool thing for the Wii Fit trainers watching this, the Wii Fit players watching this, is you can do a header cancel into another header, but if you face the other way, it'll still go the original way you launched it. So you can get like some interesting angles off of that as well. So basically just side B, header cancel into another side B. But yeah, Wii Fit loses the like up close game to disjoints and loses the like out camping game to like characters with better like projectiles in them, like the Lynx or like probably Samus a little bit, even though Wii Fit has like the slight like buffs from like deep breathing or with the like 2% damage decrease they get from using their charge shot. It's not going to be that viable versus other characters that have better camp games than them. Like they can scrap really well, especially with deep breathing. They can get really like high damage combos or even 0 to death in some matchups. But at the end of the day, they're not going to be much better than they were before, if that makes sense. They're not going to be like top tier because of one header cancel or platform push combo that is revolutionizing the character. It won't happen. Toon Link is just the worst Link, in my opinion. Some Toon Link will probably be like, I think Toon Link's the best character, and here's why in my 50-paragraph essay. But I don't think that's really true. Honestly, he's a cool character, not really cool to play against or to look at or listen when he's screaming. But his up B out of shield's probably like the best for killing, outside of Breath of the Wild Link is probably best for killing, but his is like the most long-lasting. And he's got really solid bomb combos, really solid neutral. It's just not that great compared to the better options available. Greninja, great character, bad out of shield. Squirtle, great out of shield, great combos, super light and like easy to kill sometimes, but also very hard to hit at other times. A lot of Pokemon trainers over rely on side B, and that'll definitely get them killed in the future when people can just footstool them and like kill them at 30 for an F smash. Duck Hunt has really crazy setups. All of them are pretty much optimized though, except for maybe like the drag down up air stuff I was looking at before. Other than that, like they're just not really that complex. They're just simple, like camp and run away type of character, unless you really scrap with Duck Hunt. And if you would like to, and if you really scrap with Duck Hunt, please join my Discord. If you really scrap with Duck Hunt, please join my Discord because I need the matchup experience. Or if you are just any character and you want to join the Discord, that'd be great. Min honestly is not the worst character to play against, but they have a lot of very polarizing stuff, kind of like Sephiroth, with how much range they have, how good their 2-frame and edge guarding options are, and like how broken they are versus like certain matchups, like a little Mac or like a character that has like a really bad edge guarding, like getting back to stage game like Ike. Like a Min in like the future will destroy any Ike in bracket unless they're it's just like a super much a skill issue. But yeah, the only more like optimal things they can do later on is just like their like arm swaps, like with Ram and the other arms. Most of those combos have already been labbed out and tested. It's just more of like actually executing it in game and maybe some off stage or crazier 2-frame setups that haven't been tested. Maybe some footstool stuff out of down tilt or probably none in there. I think it'd probably be their best footstool setup option if I were to check it, but I'm not going to play Min anytime soon, so I don't think I'm going to check that. And okay, and now we're heading into like the lower tiers. We're going into the more meh tier, which is not much different and overall not super great in the long term of like a character that you're going to pick. Still decently viable, but not the most viable or mid-tier viable in my opinion. The beginning of that will be Donkey Kong. I honestly would have put him a little bit lower if he didn't get the buffs in the most recent patch. But since those buffs haven't been like fully tested out like over a long period of time, we haven't really had a great chance to see what they can do in like a tournament setting or in bracket. So I think like the down tilt raw backer stuff can be cool. The jab buffs like slightly help with some combos and neutral interactions, but it's not super game changing and not gonna affect him long term. All those swordies next to each other, I can summarize probably in like one sentence of they have a disjoint, they will win neutral, they have a disjoint, they will win neutral versus characters without a disjoint pretty reliably, but can either be edge guarded, ledge trapped, or out camped in the matchups that they lose to, and that's why they're right here. Mii Gunner is honestly a very tilting character, and that's pretty much it. That's all they've got. Like, they're just a much crappier Samus with PK Fire if you choose that option, and other than that, they're not going to be making any waves more than a Samus or another character, because even their drag down stuff is honestly not that good compared to Samus or like other drag down characters like Chic. So yeah, that's why I put Mii Gunner. Zelda, I honestly probably could have put like a tier up or like even slightly higher than they are in this tier, but the main reason why Zelda isn't as low is in the future and even now, like Zelda really relies on spacing her aerials well if she's not getting like the Phantom or other setups to kill like on and off stage. So if people just like hold more into Zelda and like don't let them get the right spacing on their aerials, Zelda can't really do anything about it unless like they're playing against DK and like every aerial will perfectly hit. But they still have like new kill confirmed with like jab down smash and like other stuff that needs to be tested with like drag down nair and drag down combos in general. But they're an interesting character, but still like on the lower end of the viability spectrum. And then the last two of this tier are going to be Robin and Kirby. Robin is honestly probably the worst sword character besides me, Sword Fighter, and it's because of their like low mobility, having to like recharge their resources like a worse version of Steve, and not having that great of a ledge. They have great ledge trapping, but they don't have a great time getting off the ledge or getting out of disadvantage because they can get juggled, and they don't have a recovery sometimes. They'll just not be able to upbeat, and they have to like force to be air dodge, and they can be covered, like people can cover that really easily. And then with Kirby has some of the safest aerials on shield in the game. I think Nair is like -2 or like -1 on shields at some point, but he's still very much like a stubby and loses the disjoint and camping game like a lot of other characters in like this tier. He's not gonna be winning anything in terms of like majors unless you're finding like a really cracked Kirby like Jaja or maybe like some other like Kirbys that are really good, like That Kids or some other people. Kirby in general just has really solid ground normals, but that and then the copy ability is usually what carries him to be like higher in people's opinion because of how like polarizing getting a copy ability can be in some matchups. Like if he gets Monados, that's really cool, or if he gets like Charge Shot, that makes him a much better character, or Thunder Jolt, but it's not gonna be that great versus like a Squirtle, I guess. It's not gonna really do that much in that matchup to give them because they already have like non-giveable recoveries, or versus like a Duck Hunt, you can set up into Can, but you don't really get all of the benefits of it because you're not like a zoner, you know. So he gets like the benefit of getting their ability, but not the benefits of being able to capitalize on it, if that makes sense. And lastly, we're going to get into the bottom 15 characters in the entire game. Starting off, all of the characters up till now were going to be decently viable, or at least able to make it through a local or even like a mid-level tournament like decently well as a solo name. But now we're getting into the realm of like characters that are only good as like counter pick viable or like random pocket viable just for like 1 or 2 matchups. So the bottom 15 characters are really going to be either unviable or only good for like certain specific matchups for some of them. And I'll go over that right now. Starting off with Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff got some jab buffs recently, so they got like, I think Jigglypuff has jab back here now, which is hilarious. Or like jab into like some type of rest setup, or like down throw into rest, I believe, which isn't super crazy, but any new rest confirm is always a good thing, or any neutral confirm is always cool. So that's gonna be something interesting to watch out for in the future. I don't know if they have any footstool setups, to be honest. Maybe up tilt. They have more jab locks than footstool, to be honest. That's something that's already been pretty well documented by most Jigglypuff players. But they're just honestly very, very light and easy to like out camp, out disjoint, out neutral, out camp, out air to air, just outplay. The only saving grace is like how good their air mobility is and their air drift is, and like how good like their rest confirms are and that stuff, and how good their edge guarding and like sometimes. But other than that, like that's the main reason why you want to have it as like a counter pick opposed to like a solo main. Yeah, for Ridley, another character that's not necessarily like light, but light for like how big his hurt box is. He's pretty light, and he has really great anti-airs, has really great combo routes and like cool stuff that he can do with like drag down forward air and stuff like that haven't been fully optimized, but doesn't have a whole lot of advanced stuff like other people above him. Maybe you can get like a footstool out of a down tilt or a different type of setup, but not really. Like, I don't think it would be really viable with him because, like, footstool up B takes too long. Like, you can't really footstool down B anybody. Maybe footstool nair or dare is possible, but they're not going to be super reliable and neutral because he will probably just nair out of shield or, like, do something else out of shield instead. Has pretty good, like, projectiles and ledge trapping, but other than that, isn't really going to do that well versus characters that can combo him well. And at this point in the game, everyone is able to combo a Ridley. Like, even if they're holding away, everyone knows how to combo a big boy that's not as fast and it's not as heavy as like a Bowser. Robin, just as good ledge trapping as like a Ridley or another character, but they don't have the like sauce in neutral. Oh wait, I just realized that I think I put Robin in the place of Rosalina when I was talking about them, so I'm actually just going to talk about Rosalina now. Rosalina, like with the Luma setups, some of them have been improved with the last patch, but honestly they're not going to be all that much different. Like, it'll be slightly more consistent and Luma will live longer, so that's great, but they're not going to be like a top tier character because of it. They still lose very much to like disjoints and to like people with better frame data than them and people that can kill like Luma really early or separate them entirely. The Belmont's great ledge trapping, bad recovery, really great projectiles. Drag down nairs needs to be explored. So like the side B, holy water into footstools, like the main footstool setup that I personally know of. Other than that, I don't really like lab out Belmont stuff, so the Belmont Discord will have to look into like what they'll look like in the future. K-Rool is honestly like the best bad character, if I had to put it in that way. Like, out of all these characters, probably like the one that could reliably win a major or reliably like do well in tournament, simply because like literally over half of his kit has like super armor on it, with the belly armor on nair, up air, down smash, up smash, some other attacks I believe as well. It's just a ridiculous amount of armor and like an abysmal amount of end lag on some of his moves. Like, when they buffed forward air to make it like have no ending lag on landing, it was like atrocious. I don't know why they did that. Like he doesn't need it. Like put it back. Yeah, like some of the changes they made to like this character is honestly ridiculous. Like forward air being so fast and killing so early with like no lag now is just bad. I mean, it's bad for playing against. Up tilt kills like really early. Like it kills like 110 at the like center stage sometimes now on like a light character or midway character. So you have to really be good at mashing, which people will be in the future. It's just their hands will be more tired. So they probably will just like either mash their heart out or just be like, you can have it, bro. So yeah, there's that, and he has really early kill options with like nair edge guarding or just the projectile spam, but overall he's very much like a skill check character for the most part, kind of similar to like an Ike or like another simple character. He's got a very standard game plan, and if you know how to go work around it, you can usually beat 90% of the like mains of this character. And then there's that one like 1 in 10 people who like actually is really good with the character and can like fuck you up. But I rarely run into the K-Rools, to be honest, so I usually don't have a problem like beating them or worrying about them in the longer term, like future scenarios. They're not going to be a great character. With Villager, I'm also going to talk about Isabelle and Piranha Plant because they all have one special thing, and that is basically just their neutral B. Like the pocket, and then for Piranha Plant's case, the Patui, is basically their one polarizing or super cool move that like gets them as a get out of jail free card or as like a super counterpick viable card. Like if you get like a good pocket versus a projectile character, then you can use it to like get easy shield break setups or even like cool edge guards or cool ways to take a stock. And then right back at them, like all three of these characters can get edge guarded pretty decently well. Like they can usually make it back if they're not getting edge guarded, but if you know how to like hit them from below or hit them from the side, they can like usually lose out to most disjoints like Sephiroth or like a frame beta wise they're decent and they're all three are pretty much like zoners, but they're not anything to like main if you haven't already picked them up and like trying to flex some secondaries unless you really want to go with the Samus, just hit them with your own charge up. I would say I should put it in Fighter, worst swordie in the game, has some gimmicks with Chocolate and other stuff, but other than that aren't really going to be useful. Dr. Mario, worst Mario, but stronger. I honestly wanted to put them higher, but then when I just thought about like in the future how everyone will be really good at edge guarding and ledge trapping with their characters, Dr. Mario and other characters with battle recovery just won't be it at that point. Like this will be like super like put to the bottom of the barrel unless you play on like City or other really long stages. Like if they legalized the Minecraft stage, it's like super long, then I'll be like, yeah, maybe Dr. Mario is like bottom of mid tier, like middle of mid tier. But for now, with the current stage list, like in the future of what Smash should be, I think Dr. Mario is gonna be and then we've got Lil Mac, who is Lil Mac, not gonna be the worst character in the game in my opinion in the future. I think a lot of them will be able to mix up the recovery options, and even though it might sound counterintuitive the way I just said with Dr. Mario, I think Lil Mac still has a better aerial drift, neutral, and advantage state than Dr. Mario. It's just that the reason why I put Lil Mac lower is because Doc has like a projectile and he can like camp out if he needs to a little bit, and Mac can't really do that, and he can't really cover the air game as well as like a Dr. Mario because he's very much a grounded character. But because of his speed and because of the buffs they gave him and like because of how committed some of the mains are to this character and how good like some of the stuff they can do is, they can beat like really top players or really good players with their setups and with their like early cheese setups. And KO punch is ridiculous. Like KO punch is literally really broken move that no one talks about, but you can't shield it, you can't counter it, you can't really do anything except spot dodge or roll, and sometimes your roll will get hit with it anyway. So it's just a polarizing character that is the last good counter pick character of the roster. And then in the unviable tier for the bottom 3 characters in the game, it's going to be Diddy, Lucario, and Ganon. The reason I think Diddy is unviable and not any higher than this is because if you're going to play Diddy, you literally could play any other character in the game with a good command grab or a good zoning tool or zoning projectile, and it would be a better option, right? Because even though Empty Land, Neutral B for the command grab is good, so many other characters have a better command grab and projectile. If you want to play, my suggestion to you is if you main DDD or want to just think of playing DDD, just play Mewtwo, because Mewtwo has Shadow Ball instead of Gordo, and then Confusion or the side is a command grab, a reflector, and a combo tree, right? So you get basically a 3-for-1, opposed to Ridley just gets a 1-for-1. And Mewtwo, even though he has the tail for box, is still smaller than Diddy and gets comboed less easy. The only reason you want Diddy over Mewtwo or another character like him is because of the weight, and you just not wanting to get killed early because of the weight, but you're going to get edge guarded, you're going to get ledge trap, you're going to get comboed until you get ledge trap. Diddy's just not worth your time, unless you're playing or you're playing friendlies with Fitz. Or he was better than Lucario, similar thing, just why would you play Lucario when you have so many other good characters like Greninja, you have characters there's another character who benefits really well from getting high damage. I'd say even Ike, honestly, is a much better pick than Lucario, because Ike with Rage is a much better character than Lucario with Rage. Ike with Rage can kill reliably at 70 or even 50 if your opponent's a light enough character. And I don't really see that with Lucario. And Lucario also has to do that with his fists. I can just do that with his sword and do it distance. So another character we could also probably pick up Mewtwo instead. I should maybe make this tier just to play Mewtwo instead too. But yeah, just don't play these characters unless you're trying to have it. Last but not least, Ganon. Ganon, honestly, I really wish they did something anything with in this final patch. I know they kind of somewhat fixed rock crocking, but you can still do it. It's just tighter percentage range and tighter execution sometimes. It's just not going to be hard in the future though. Ganon still has probably the most giftable recovery in the game. Still loses really hard to the Rats, the Zoners, the Swordies, the bad characters even. He loses to Jigglypuff, he loses to Little Mac, I'm pretty sure. He loses to Doc probably. Loses to basically everyone else in the bottom 15. Yeah, I don't think he has any winning matchups in the game except versus maybe really stubby characters or characters that he doesn't really have any winning matchups, I would put it that way. He just doesn't have any winning matchups, but he has players and characters that he can. Ganon doesn't have any winning matchups, but there are players of this character that can win matchups and can win games, maybe majors if we're being very, very generous in the perfect world, and in the bracket where everyone goes random, but on a standard, regular, non-full moon day, Ganon is the worst character. And that's pretty much how he'll stay unless he gets Thunderbolt or Swords of Recovery. The only cool thing I would think about with Ganon is, like I said before, some of the puff and push combo setups are still kind of cool, like the Wolf Landing out there, or just stuff like that. Nair 1 confirms are cool, because it's kind of like what Captain Falcon has, but at that point just play Captain Falcon because he's tiers and leagues ahead of Ganondorf, And if you want the big funny hit moves, you still have Falcon Punch, and like down your knee and stuff like that. But yeah, that's basically it. Not worth placing tier, it's just the stuff that was left in the, like on the tier list that I just had to put somewhere. Basically just Alf and Olimar aren't really worth talking about, because if you're playing Alf and Olimar and you aren't the Buzz in the year like 2023 or 2024, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but might want to check something out, dude. Okay, but in all seriousness, I'd put Olimar and Alf probably in the mid-tier to maybe bottom of top tier level, because all the Pikmin setups are, well, they're not necessarily cool, they are interesting, and you might be able to get more new setups if you lab them in the future. That'll be up for someone else though, not for me to do. And then Nana and Popo are just like, I didn't feel like ranking those characters separately because they're the same character, and then there's Kazuya, they're just on the side. But yeah, that is my 20XX like future of Smash tier list. If you have any comments or questions, I would really love to hear from you, either in my Discord or in the comments below. Do you like where your main is going to be in the future? Do you think I should have put them higher or lower? Let me know. But yeah, I think this was a little interesting thought experiment of what the future of Smash could look like, and what I think it really will look like, in all honesty. But stay tuned for another tier list video coming soon of like the actual tier list, breaking down why I think certain characters are where they are in the current state of Smash, like in offline and like somewhat post-COVID era. And yeah, that's gonna be it.